Okay, part 2 of the Amora Bain Carson case. We are at the part where Jessica and Blaine are talking with the Ouija board, and they believe that the Ouija board told them that Jessica's mother actually killed her father, even though the police deemed it a suicide, which it was. She's delusional. So at this time, they were getting deeper and deeper and deeper into this religious fucking weird shit, and they believed that the trailer they lived in was possessed. So they're like, no, we got to get the fuck out of here. So in October of 2008, they move in with Blaine's mother, Shirley. Shirley, Blaine's mother, reports that when he moved in, she noticed how terrible his depression was. He would spend days in his bed just listening to the music from his father's funeral. And that one night, he actually put a gun up to his head and said that he was going to go be with his father. Shirley, his mother, like any mother would do, went and wrestled the gun out of his hand, but the gun actually went off. Luckily, it did not hit anybody, but it hit the floor. So she took him to the hospital and tried to have him committed to a mental institution because she said, seriously, something's wrong with my son. But he was an adult, he was 18, and it is extremely hard to involuntarily commit someone to a mental institution. So she was unsuccessful. Him being committed to that mental institution could have meant life for baby Amora, but tragically on December 2nd, 2008, 911 operators get a call from Blaine stating that he found his 13-month-old stepdaughter dead. This call can all be heard on YouTube. It's extremely weird. He has such a calm demeanor, like he is not panicked at all. You can hear Jessica crying in the background, and the 911 operator is telling them to do CPR. Blaine then hands Jessica the phone, and she's crying, and the 911 operator again is like, y'all need to fucking do CPR. And literally verbatim quote says, you stalling isn't helping anything. If he won't do it, drop the phone and do it yourself. They were getting pissed, and that was the first red flag for the investigators. When officers arrive, they find Amora in a hole in the floor in their bathroom. She clearly was already in rigor mortis, which means sadly she had passed a while before they called. And they immediately notice her face is bruised. By the first responders, it was described that her entire face was bruised so badly it looked like one big bruise. And they also noticed little circle bruising all over her body, and they thought that she might have been hit with a pop can. It was later determined these were bite marks, 22 of them. Officers are obviously like, what the fuck? And Jessica's outside crying, and she seems to be the more emotional of the two, and she actually states, what kind of monster does this? Bitch, you know damn well, you. Like I said, Jessica's very emotional, but Blaine is the exact opposite. He's completely calm and collected. He stated to the police that him and Jessica left to go meet up with a man they were buying land from, and they left 13-month-old Amora home alone, which it's like, who the fuck does that? And when they came back, they found her like that and called 911, which clearly he's a 13-month-old home alone. I mean, really. And they said they were only gone for a fucking hour. Jessica also had stated to the officers initially that they had been in a car accident a couple weeks prior, which was likely her trying to explain some of the bruising. So they obviously were like, nah, we got to question y'all. They take them in separate police cars and interrogate them separately. So Blaine repeats the same story. They left, they found her like that. They found her in the hole in the bathroom. He said he originally thought that she ate insulation because she had blood around her mouth. And that when he first found her, she was still breathing, which they knew that wasn't true because if he would have called 911 when he first found her, there's no way that she would have been breathing at that time based on the rigor mortis. He was also adamant he had nothing to do with this and offered to allow them to search his house and his car. The detective thought that was weird because the detective hadn't even fucking accused him yet, and they were already about to search everything. He also offers to provide a list of people he believes could have done it, and he also states whenever you find who did this, they need to be hung, which you might have sealed your own fate there. Then the detective says he doesn't believe him, and Blaine offers to take a polygraph test, which he never actually takes, but the detective is basically like, all right, I'm done talking to you, but I'm not buying your story. Then they interview Jessica, who originally at the start of the interview was crying, distraught over the death of her daughter, could not believe how this could happen, but then suddenly changes and is like, you know what, I'm going to confess. And the detective who took the confession said it was the most bizarre story he has ever heard in his life. She starts by telling the detective about the Ouija board and how they've been talking to their fathers, and she describes it as a telephone to heaven, which, bitch, anything I've ever heard about a Ouija board, it ain't to fucking heaven. I would never do no shit like that, you weirdo. She then states that their trailer was possessed and that they decided to bless the Ouija board and to throw it away, and that would solve all their problems. And when it didn't, they moved. She then said that it was the devil who had went into Blaine and taken him over. She also said a demon got into her and that finally a demon named Martha was possessing baby Amora. And mind you, you can hear her entire interrogation tape. Like, I'm convinced she actually fucking believes this shit. Like, she is saying this with such fucking conviction, and she's like, it's almost like she believes the detective is believing it. So around that time, Blaine began telling her that Amora was walking on her own, which for whatever reason they believed that she couldn't have possibly done because she was too young. She was 13 months old. I mean, she would have been able to probably walk. She could have potentially been walking. But also Blaine said that she was hitting herself with a hammer and convinced Jessica that it was the demon Martha who was possessing her. They decided that the only thing to do was an exorcism. They at first attempted to take a bunch of things to a pawn shop to get money to hire a priest to perform the exorcism, but they were unable to gather enough money, and they also couldn't find a priest to do it. So Blaine was like, you know what? God taught me how. She then says that Blaine decided to take Amora into a room and perform the exorcism. Jessica did not stay in the room. She decided to watch TV, and when she would hear her baby scream, she just turned the TV up louder. The brutal attack against baby Amora lasted over 30 hours. At one point, Blaine stopped, and they decided to take Amora up to Walmart, and at that point Jessica admitted that she had seen the bruising on her face, but then once they got back home he continued, and at one point he came running out of the room and saying that baby Amora again was hitting herself with the hammer and that God told him that he would have to send her to heaven now or she would have to live in eternity with Satan. And Jessica believed him, so then Blaine killed baby Amora. Obviously, they arrest them both and continue to investigate. They find security footage of them going to the store and the gas station after they had killed Amora and before they called 911. They also search the house and find the bedroom has so much of Amora's blood soaked on the bed, on the clothes around the bed, on the walls. They obviously confirm the attack happened in the bedroom, like Jessica said. They also find a tube of Astroglide and jeans with Astroglide and blood on them. The blood is determined to be Amora's. So while Blaine is in jail, his sister Teresa decides to visit him, and I would put a picture of this dumb bitch if I could find one. But she decides to visit him in jail, and apparently he had told her where some evidence that the police had not found was hidden in the trailer. So she, after that visit, calls their aunt and states they have to hurry and rush and get over to the trailer to grab that evidence, seemingly to destroy it. The aunt obviously was a good and decent person and called the police to warn them to go to the trailer first and collect that evidence. Okay, you know the drill, part 3 coming right away.